All right, so this is Beast. It's the newest Idris Elba movie that just came out in theaters. I'm not going to prolong this. I did not like this movie at all. I think it's terrible. I think it's easily one of the worst movies of the year. I couldn't wait to get home and talk shit about it. I'm actually tired, right? I woke up kind of early this morning and I want to go to sleep, but I got to get this, kind of got to get this off my chest, right? So it's directed by Baltazar Kormacor. So Idris Elba plays Dr. Nate Samuels. He is going to South Africa with his daughters, Nora, played by Leah Jeffries, and Meredith, played by Iana Haley. And they're there because their mother died, and they're trying to, like, I guess, reconnect their uh, father-daughter's relationship in her homeland. I know that's where she's from, where she grew up, their mother, and Idris Elba's character's been there with her before and stuff like that. So, like, they're there to reconnect and see their her old pictures and things like that. Nothing really specific on what they're exactly doing, but they're just there to kind of walk around, see the sights. So they're going around looking at the animals, whatever. They start looking at some lions, a pack of lions, and they go to a village to talk to some villagers, but those villagers are dead. They've been all killed by this lion, and they end up getting attacked by the lion. They try to run away or drive away, and their car breaks down. So they have to try to figure out, how to get away from the lion. Since they're stuck in this car, they have to kind of find a way to maybe get another car to get away. There's some way to get away from the lion. As I said, don't like this movie at all. Positives. Idris Elba. He's not great, but he's good. He's fine. He's passable, right? If you can get anything from any of the performances, it's from him, right? This movie feels like it wouldn't exist if he hadn't signed on to it. So whatever. It's shot okay. Like, some of the scenery looks good. There's the sets. So, like, there's a part where they go into this building. And it's, I guess it's an old poacher's den because there's poachers in this movie, and it does feel lived in. It feels real, right? It feels like they're actually you know, in an old poacher's den or whatever, out in Africa and things like that. It's actually shot okay, right? It looks fine. There's some kind of scary moments here and there, right? Like there's one part, I think it was in the trailer even, where they were first running away from the lion. Idris Elba's running, and he jumps into the passenger seat, through the passenger seat car door to get in at the last minute, right before the lion hits against the car window, and you feel the impact of it, and it actually made me jump. Like there's a couple scenes that are all right. There's a part where he's trying to get one of the poacher's keys, and so he has to sneak around the lion at one point. That's all right too. And some of the poachers just get snatched up because they have to, because the family has pretty thick plot armor. So especially Idris Elba, we will get back to that. So some of that was all right. There's also a moment with Sharlto Copley. He plays Uncle Martin. He's, I guess he was like a family friend, and he's showing them around. 'Cause I guess he lives there. And there's a moment where he comes to see these lions that I guess he raised, right, when they were cubs. And there's the moment where they walk up to him, and then they just go up and embrace him or whatever. That was kind of touching, right? I actually kind of like that, right? If the movie was just about him and his relationship with those lions, it'd probably be a better movie. Well, it would definitely be better than this. So let's get into it. Let's go and get into the negatives here. The question in my mind that was, it was there, and I couldn't get it out of my head for a majority of this was, why the fuck is this in a theater, right? It feels like a movie that you would stumble across on Hulu, and you would see it, you'd be like, oh, Idris Elba's in this? And then you would just keep scrolling. Like, you would go right past it. You wouldn't even watch it. Because you could tell from the trailers even with this movie that it looks generic. It is. There's nothing to this movie at all when you actually go see it. There's nothing to it, right? They set up certain things. Idris Elba's having these dreams of, Africa and African women and things like that. Does it go to anything? Not really. It's just kind of there. There's even an inception moment where he wakes up from one dream to stumble into another one. And is there a point to it? No, like I said, not really. There's the whole thing where the daughter is also a photographer, just like the mother was, and so I guess that's something I guess the mother passed on to her. And does that go into anything? No, it's just a trait. That's it. There's so many exposition scenes or heavy exposition of the family and stuff like that, rather than real development like flashbacks or anything like that. It's all just told. The mother herself is not really shown, just little glimpses like here and there. I think like twice in the movie you see her. Once, one of which was I think was in a picture, and so you don't really get a feel for their family or their dynamic or whatever. It's just all what they've given you through exposition, just so the story can keep going. The drama of it all, like, because you have to have something, underneath the surface. So Idris Elba and his daughters, they're not really getting along, right? So they finally get into that at some point, right? And you're thinking, okay, this is going to be later on in the movie because one of the daughters isn't talking to him, right? So that's probably the point of this vacation, is to reconnect, and so they can finally hash things out, right? So you're thinking that's going to happen a little bit later on, right? Like there'll be a quiet moment where they're in the car, and they kind of do one of those, right, where they kind of have things out. But the actual moment where you actually get majority of that conflict is maybe like 10 minutes into the movie. Like it's one of the first like full-on conversations that you get, is her going off on him. Like, you weren't around. That's the thing. The mother died of cancer and they were separated at that time, so he wasn't around. I don't care about spoiling this movie. You shouldn't go see it. It shouldn't really, they should have made it. At the very least, it should have gone straight to streaming. And I don't even mean theater slash streaming. I don't know if this movie is on like a streaming service too. This should have just been on a streaming service. And it's bad even for that. So I don't care about spoiling it. So that's the conflict. It happens. It's one of the second convers. I think it's like the second conversation he has with that daughter. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to this movie, right? Nothing. Performances. I talked about Idris Elba. He's good. He's all right. The daughters are not good, right? There's moments where they have to cry. It's not believable at all. I know you got the little tear going down or whatever. You get a few tears going, right? But that's not enough. You don't feel it at all. There's moments where, especially the youngest one, where she has to cry, and then she cries for like 2 seconds, and then it's just breathing hard. Like it's not believable at all. And they get into these conversations where it feels like they're just talking to talk. If any conversation, if it's not a heavy exposition, or if it's not talking about like the lion, then it's just throwaway stuff. Some of it actually even felt like forced, kind of unnecessary ADR too at moments for the daughters. So yeah, they're definitely not good, especially the youngest one. 'Cause she's the talkative one, so she has the most like throwaway like nonsense lines. Not good, but you give them a pass. They're kids, whatever. The youngest one, I wouldn't be surprised if this is their first movie. It shows. Um, but Sharlto Copley, you know better, right? This is not only the worst performance I've seen from him, at least that I can recollect, but it's one of the worst performances of the year. It's easily one of the worst performances I've seen. I mean, it feels like he delivers every line like he just read the script for the first time, like on the day, like right before they got on set. And so during each line or before each line, there's kind of like a pause, feeling like he needs to think about what the line is, the upcoming line he's about to say is. It is it is bad. Like, it is embarrassing for him. I mean, I know you can do better. I've seen you do better. Like, what the hell is this, right? He'll give the line. Yeah, see, those are the lions over there. Yeah. I was like, what? He'll pause during it. Like, it really does feel like he's kind of like trying to either making it up as he's going along, or he's trying to recollect the line as he's giving it. It's terrible. It's so bad. And then there's a moment where he gets attacked and he's losing blood. So he's kind of out of it, right? He feels like he's about to pass out. And wow, it is not believable at all, right? I'm losing blood. I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's pretty much on that level where he's talking to them on like a walkie-talkie or whatever, and he's like, he's looking right at me. You're not gonna believe this. He's looking right at me. The movie honestly can be summed up in probably a couple sentences because there's not really much going on here, right? They go to look around some, a couple places, a couple conversations here and there, taking some pictures. There's a little bit of setup with seeing the lions and seeing the guy load the tranquilizer gun so they know how to use it later. They drive and conveniently, I guess, the car breaks down. They're stuck in the car. They spend most of the movie in the car. Poachers show up, right? The poachers get picked off by the lion. They take the poacher's keys. They take the car. They drive away, but oh, they can't leave because the lion is still after them and because the daughter got hurt. So he treats the daughter, then he goes to fight the lion, and that's it. And when I say fight the lion, see, this is the moment because I was bored and sleepy the whole movie long. It was really hard to stay awake. This was the moment where I woke up because I laughed my fucking ass off. I was crying laughing. I'm sure I was disturbing the guy that was a couple seats away from me. Man, I couldn't contain myself. They have no respect for us as audience members anymore, right? I've seen some ridiculous shit, but this is on another level, right? This lion, I know he's kind of hurt from certain things that's happened. I mean, he seems like a super lion. He survives like everything. Jesus, they put a tranquilizer dart on him and he's supposed to be out for hours and he's just staring at them, just almost immediately, walking around. I was like, God damn, survives shit that he definitely shouldn't be surviving, like right before this little climactic moment happens. I mean, it goes right into this little final thing because nothing has happened up to that point. There's nothing to this movie, and they know that. They know it. A lot of it's padded with like him doing medical whatever on somebody's wounds or something. Uh, so he goes out to the little little open area, whatever. There's a reason for that, but he goes up to an open area. I think he had a knife, and that's it. He's mostly doing it barehanded, and he's fighting this lion. It's him versus the lion, pretty much. And it is fucking ridiculous and unbelievable, right? God damn. I mean, it's him because they spend most of the movie, the family, because they have such thick plot armor, kicking the lion in the head and stuff like that. I was like, this lion should take these people's legs off. But he's fighting the lion pretty much with his bare hands, and he's winning. The lion is getting scratches in, biting at him and stuff like that. And I'm thinking this should be over in seconds, right? This should be over like that, right? This is a lion. And this guy, it's not even that he's like an action guy or like, he's, this guy's not like military service or something, some hard ass, right? Like, it's just a guy. Like, he's a dad, he's a doctor. And he's taking on a lion, like taking him on and getting scratched and bit, and all he's getting is legit scratches, like things that he should have huge gashes, huge scars. He should be getting, when he gets bit, it should take, that mouth should be taking flesh off his ass. And it's not so bad, right? Like that climax is is what pushed me over to giving this my lowest rating. This is getting a complete shit. This is fucking awful. I'm being honest, it's awful. I'm not exaggerating in any way. It's awful. It's nothing until it's abysmal, like shit. Anyway, that was probably kind of a rant. I'm probably gonna name this a rant maybe, but whatever. That's Beast. It's awful, and we're done.